All right. So all giving thanks as we open the space to Spirit, the Most High, Creator, Mother, Father, God, to the ancestors who watch over us, who love us, who guide us, whose shoulders we stand upon and have paved the way for our success. We give thanks to our angels and our guides and our entourage that support us and are with us and assigned to us constantly. Also give thanks to our own Ori, our own spirit, our own connection and part of the all that has just given us a mind to be present this morning and that is open to expand this morning and open to share, open to just be in the present moment and be a support in this virtual sister circle to bring encouragement and to be encouraged. We give thanks on this morning. And we say Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. All right. Good morning, ladies. As we know, we are in the week of Kwanzaa. I wanted to really bring that into the forefront this morning. I'm not sure how many of us on the line actually celebrate it, but it is very present in my life and in my family's life. We are practicing the Nguzo Saba, or the seven principles, to the best of our ability throughout the year. And Kwanzaa is a celebration of that lifestyle, of that those principles that are the foundation of the African American peoples of the diaspora. And I just wanted to really go over the principles and really tie it into how we've been really supporting each other and building ourselves up in this space as women, as Black women, as divine beings, how we have been praying for not only ourselves, but our families and our communities and the world, never forgetting our men and our children, always supporting and lifting up our elders, and then just being grateful as we continue to get a clearer understanding of our connection to our ancestors, the breath, how the breath is Sanskrit for spirit, so how we're getting closer to dancing with spirit, allowing that energy to flow through us freely. I mean, it's all connected. And yeah, that is our topic today. Kwanzaa, the celebration of the lifestyle of the Nguzo Saba. And I'll open the floor there if anybody wants to come in and talk about what the Nguzo Saba means to them, or if they're familiar with it, please do so right now. Sister Donna, I see you unmuted.
I'm trying to find the picture. My picture's gone.
Oh yeah, I just let it go so I could see you guys.
Okay. Well, I went to a Kwanzaa last night, and Kwanzaa means the world to me. It represents Black life and principles to be shared and new mythology. I honor it. That's what I can say. Something to be. It's a part of me. So I go every year for the past maybe 10, 12 years. We have 14 events getting ready to jump off, 2 a day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. In the city?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've never been to Kwanzaa in the city. I've been in Oakland, but have yet to experience it in San Francisco.
I've never experienced in Oakland or any other place.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Oakland has one too.
Oh yeah,
No,
Oakland.
I don't mean that, but yeah. I've
Um,
never.
yeah, the kids go. My grandkids go to an African centered school, private school called Ile Omade, and every year they have their Kwanzaa celebration. They do the opening Umoja celebration, and my grandkids actually danced last night. I wasn't able to attend because, of course, we were in the opening ceremonies in East Palo Alto. But yeah, Ile always does Umoja, and I think there's a couple of churches that follow through with other days, other principles of the Nguzo Saba. So yeah, Oakland is very present. Welcome, Angel. Welcome, Sherry. Welcome, Lenore. We've opened the floor and we're actually discussing the Nguzo Saba this morning, Kwanzaa, and we are relating it to the expansion and the building of ourselves as women, as Black women, and as a people. And we're just going to expound on those and allow um, ourselves to really delve into what the seven principles mean and how we are incorporating them in our lives throughout the year. And this is a formal way of looking at the principles, but if we think about it, we've been doing these principles as Black people forever. These are the things that our ancestors used to tell us when they used to buy from one another, when they used to support each other, when they were creating groups and clubs to support the Black people, to make sure that there was food and there was shelter and clothing and all of that. We did that for each other. And in the 60s, when was it, 66 or 65 that 66 Karanga, he was inspired and used Swahili, the Swahili language, as well as drew from some principles from the African diaspora to create a subset of values, core values that we were already doing. But he just tied it into um, the African um, the African peoples and made the connection there for us. So we're talking about Kwanzaa and just really putting it out there as to how much we know about it and how many of us actually celebrate it as Kwanzaa. So last night we celebrated the first night, which was Umoja, which means unity. And that principle is to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, race, and nation. And I know Angel speaks of that always when we talk about our ancestors and those who have transitioned. She always says our family was together. We did everything together. We made sure that we were looking out for one another. You know, there may have been some beef or whatever, but we always were looking out for one another. And that is the epitome of Umoja. But when we take it out a little bit further to the community, making sure that the people down the street have food, making sure that kids got home safely, that everybody was safe. And we had a lot of pride in being Black peoples, no matter where we were. The connection was strong, whether it was in our affiliation in the church, or whether we were coming together with reunions, or bringing people from the South to the North, or from the South to the West. we were doing together. Can anybody relate to what I'm saying? I know there was a lot of people that came to California and they lived together, and they created subsets right in their communities to, when somebody had a house, people would come and then they would get their stuff together and they get them a house and they'd move on. And that's how my husband's people got here in East Palo Alto. His mom came and moved in with a sister, no, excuse me, a cousin. And she went to school and got herself together. She got married and they moved out. And it was like everybody was moving from Mississippi to California. Does that ring a bell for anyone? Or would you like to share?
Good morning, sisters. My family mostly went to Chicago and Detroit, and that's what they did. Some of them were family by marriage or blood, but they helped each other with jobs, and Chicago was like the, it was like Moses. People were leaving, going to the promised land, leaving Mississippi, like you say, Chicago, California, wherever they were leaving here going, but it was like the promised land, and they were all helping each other and working together to make sure they had a place to stay. They could help with jobs, with clothing, with food. They did that. That was something a great part of the Black community back in the early days. And also, I first heard about Kwanzaa back in 1977. I worked at Marcus Garvey School for a while, and that was my first introduction to Kwanzaa. I didn't, keep listening, but I was introduced to it. Gosh, how many ever years that was ago? 40 some years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
it was powerful then, and it's very powerful now. So I'm happy to be reintroduced to Kwanzaa and learning the principles of Kwanzaa. So, Ashe, Ashe.
All right. Yeah. It is definitely something that is not far fetched. I know a lot of us as Black people, we get confused. Is Kwanzaa replacing Christmas? If I am a believer in Christ and have Christmas, then I don't want to undermine Christmas or my faith and have Kwanzaa. And it's like that lets me know immediately that they have no real um, understanding of what the principles are. They're in no way a substitution for your faith. As a matter of fact, it's not faith based. It's tradition, cultural, and community based. Right? It's these principles kind of instill a mindset to come together, and they should um, expand any faith that you have, any belief in um, a higher law, right? A higher being, your highest self, because we are asking you to come in truth, in honesty, and in realness, and full out love into these spaces as we create beautiful, safe, soft, compassionate spaces for Black people. We already know we're resilient. We already know that um, we have made it in the struggle. That when I say made it, we are still present. We already know that we're striving to stake our claim, Ashe. But we know that we not only are we going to do it in our own might, but we're going to do it because we are connected and we are tapped in to the power of the Most High. And that should be um, a help, not a dividing tool. So I know a lot of African Americans struggle with their connection to Africa. They don't want to be connected to Africa because, again, uh, Our people perish for the lack of knowledge. You know, they have no clue the legacy that they hold and how having the footprint of the first people in them is so powerful. You know, it's they've just been socialized out of the knowing of who they are. And so this is also another reason why we have Kwanzaa, um, to just remind us that we all came from the motherland. Ashe?
Ashe.
All right. So the next principle is Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. And that's to define ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. And that was really important to us because everybody was trying to tell the Black people who they were, what they were capable of, that we were lost people, African Americans that came here. They didn't have nothing. They came from nowhere. And our history started at slavery. And that's not true. And so to create a sense of knowing, we can define, you want to call us colored, you want to call us all these names, but we're choosing who we're going to be called. You're going to say that our neighborhoods, our slums and ghettos and this or that, but we know the truth of what's happening in those neighborhoods and how we're supporting ourselves. So we don't have to assume the position that you say, whoever you say is, societal norms, whatever, is trying to put us in a category to be. And it was very prevalent, I know, back in the 60s when the Black movement came. Well, it was the 50s, but when we were really going for this civil rights thing, and they decided that when we started really making toeholds in our rights, they decided to make us the face of poverty. And they decided to make us the reason why the nation was stagnant, and all the money was going to the poor people, when we know all the programs were created for poor white people. And as long as it was poor white people, the citizens of the good old US was happy. They were like, oh yes, let's provide some help, some relief. But when Black people started to be the face in the propaganda of the news and everything of poverty, then all of a sudden those programs were a burden on society, and we were using tax dollars because these people, they were poor because they didn't want to work, and they were poor because they did. You understand what I'm saying? So they started to define us in the media and in their legislation as the problem. And so we needed to take a stand and say, no, that is not who we are. We are not all fatherless. We are not all vagabonds. We are not all uneducated. We are not all that. We can define ourselves. And that's what Kuji Chagalib means, the self-determination to create the life that we desire and we deserve, and to create the existence that we define for ourselves. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Shay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's kind of
Shay.
powerful. How many, I have this pet peeve about black on black, the words black on black crime. That makes me angry because we are not the only people that are killing. We're killing each other because human beings kill human beings, Ashe. But when you take the statistics and you pull out a subset of people and you give it its own name, then that's where the emphasis goes. There are just as many or more other ethnic groups who are using destructive ways than Black people, but they don't pull it out. You don't hear Asian on Asian crime. You don't hear brown on brown crime. You definitely don't hear white on white crime. They group that into a subset called crime, but then they pull out the numbers. And if you ever look at the numbers, really look at the numbers, we are very, 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 very low because we ain't got that many black folks. Ashe?
Absolutely. And
We are,
it's just, if I might interject and say it's the
no, go
same
ahead.
thing like you were saying with welfare. Our ratios may be higher. However, we are such fewer people. They want to make it seem like all of us are on welfare, and it's more
Mm-hmm.
white people because it's more of them. So their population as far as welfare is probably 10 to 1 to ours, but they make it seem like all black people are on welfare. And that is so not true. They get more welfare. And I haven't looked at the crime, but I'm sure you're right. More crime, even if it's white collar crime, more
Exactly.
crime in the white community than in the black community. But they focus in, make it seem like it's just us that are out there deceiving and cheating the system. And it's just not true.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong, because we human,
Right?
we got some stuff, right? We not gonna sit up here and act like everybody that wears this skin color is on the up and up. That's not
Right?
true. But the,
Right?
the the thing is just like here in East Palo Alto, what are we? Less than 4 square miles of land, and they were calling us the murder capital of the world. Yeah, if we got 10 people and 2 people got murdered, hell yeah, our ratios look like we crazy, right?
Right?
But they
Right?
did that. Why did they do that? Because they were setting up the systematic takeover for Silicon Valley to come in and reclaim East Palo Alto land, right? It's the gateway into Silicon Valley. So how do you assume that 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 land? You first have to tarnish it. You first have to criminalize it, like they do black people, and make it and bring some detachment from the for the people in that, some cognizant dissonance, so they could say, yeah, we're tearing this down because there's nobody there that's worthy to be there. They're tearing it up. We're going to take it over because it's an eyesore and everybody's killing everybody in there, so we got to go in there. That's not reality, right? So there's another place where they have tried to define us, tried to name us, and tried to create a status for us. And we say, no, we are determined to name ourselves, to create for ourselves, and to speak for ourselves. Ashe, I could talk about Guji Jagalia all day, because when you really break it down, we've been in these principles and living these principles and rising above all our lives. We just now have a foundation or format to tie it back to. Ashe. So number 3, Ujima. And this is the one that I work with every year, Ujima, to build and keep our community together, to make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems, and to solve them together. And this one is beautiful because um, you could look at this in many, many ways. You could look at this in how everybody used to be taken care of by Big Mama. You could trust that your kids was okay. Everybody was looking out for you. I know here in our community, you could have a drunk on the corner, but if he see you going wrong, he'd be like, hey, you ain't supposed to be here. What you doing here? Go home. I know your mama. I know your dad. What you doing? And it ain't that he was doing so great, but he knew that what he was doing, he didn't want you doing. And he was going to say, go, right? And until they really doubled down on us and dropped crack in our community, uh, everything was going pretty good. And I know that our community wasn't the only one that was impacted by this, um, the drug infestation, but you notice they dropped that in the inner cities that they were trying to yet another ploy to extinguish us. And so we need to band together, because there's been repercussions of that. Up until the state, we have young people who are questioning the values of life, their life and anybody else's, because they don't feel the love. They didn't feel the love. They felt like they were doing it on their own, and they were. Mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers were taken out of the home by that drug. They were either killed or they were put in jail. There was a great chasm that was created with the crack era. Some of us were able to come back out of it, but those children who were at home raising themselves, literally, there's a mindset with them that needs to come back to center. Can anybody attest to what I'm saying? There's a generation that was created in that space that was so hard and so removed from warmth and love that their actions are very foreign to what we as a people stand for. And it's not, you know what they say, it's nobody's fault, but everybody's to blame. There was a lot going on, especially in our communities, that was really formulated to tear us apart and to weaken the family structure, weaken the community, because they know with unity we cannot be stopped as a people. And now we are working to bring those back to a knowledge of who they are intrinsically, who they were created to be, to re-engage with their emotions, their feelings, their vulnerability, their openness to love and to trust, to value their lives, to begin to see themselves as a part of, instead of isolated and having to get it on their own. And that's why I love Ujima so much, because I have an opportunity to talk about re-entry. You know, we have people coming back into our communities from incarceration, and it's more than just giving them a place to live and food to eat. It's more than throwing resources at them. It's about going in and doing some work in their hearts, releasing them from that survival mentality, allowing the trauma and the drama to be released out of their cellular structure, you know, bringing them back to center. And so that is Ujima that I love so much. This year, our theme on Thursday night will be check in on your strong friends. And how many of us know people who are always smiling, people who look like they have it all together, who make it their business, their worth is in saving the day, but they are hurting and they need love and compassion. And some of them don't even know how to receive it, let alone ask for it. But we have to check in on those who are always present and ready to give, because they need as well. Ashe?
Ashe.
Anyone have anything they want to add to that? All right. Well, Ujamaa, cooperative economics, to build and manage our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. What I'm talking about: Black businesses, entrepreneurship, Started out getting a piece of land, working it for ourselves, and being able to create our wares. And we're still doing that. We're still doing that. We're so many of us are coming off of these corporate jobs that at one point we thought we had to chase the white rabbit. And now we're realizing, hell, we can create and do things on our own. You know, we've got this, and there's such an entrepreneurial spirit in us as people. It's amazing. I know my dad, he would always talk about them daggone Haitians and Cubans in Miami. He'd be like, those people work hard. Those people, my God, those people, they building, they got businesses, and blah, blah, blah. Well, those people are a part of who we are. And we've always had a desire to do it for ourselves. And we have the skills. The thing is the confidence. The thing is to know that we can set our own standards. We can do our own things. And the other thing is to have grace with our people. I know a lot of people will buy black, and if, I mean, the slightest thing ain't right, they'll write that brother or sister off. Oh, I see, that's why I don't buy black. Black people always. In the meantime, in between time, we go into these same stores that are run by others, ain't giving us a fair price, treating us like crap, but we making it a point to let them know that we have a right to be there. So we're fighting with our mouth and with our actions, but we still go into these places and buying and saying, you got to serve me, where they could have messed over us 10 times. Can I get
I'd
an
like,
amen?
yes.
Amen.
And I'd like to interject, if I may.
Come on.
When my father left the cotton fields, he started out working in the factory, and this company had him to train this young Caucasian fella, and then they promoted the Caucasian fella over my dad and had that guy be the supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad made up his mind then. I'm not working for those people anymore. He started his own. He
Mm-hmm.
started his own little grocery store, and he was already a barber. And so our family just has that entrepreneur spirit from my
Mm-hmm.
dad. Now, I'd like to also interject that I was introduced to Kwanzaa back in the 1980s when I moved to California. One of my girlfriends took me to one of the celebrations. And so it's always been something that I've tried to learn about. But we do have the Kwanzaa celebrations at the Ida Wells Museum. And so I just wanted to interject that. But, and also, I thought about, we were doing gift giving over the Christmas holiday. We pulled names. And I said, instead of me going to Macy's or Dillard's or to any of those places, I said, I'm going to support a black business. And so
Ashe.
this black lady, has her own nail shop in Holly Springs. So what I did, I bought a gift certificate for someone to go and get their nails done. That was my way of giving back to the black community by
Ashe.
purchasing that gift card.
Beautiful. And that's what it's all about. Bouncing that black dollar. Bouncing that black dollar. And we hear, I know this is, I'm not saying anything that no one has not heard before. How every other culture bounces those dollars around their community at least 25 times. We need to bounce that dollar. I need to give it to a black business. That business needs to uh, support the black community. It needs to stay in our community. And there are those who will work in corporate America and those who will do different things. But we also need to support those who have decided to take an entrepreneurial route and to create for us and to support us. And it's all good. It's all good. We can do it in our own way. But we have been doing this, and this is just one way to tie it into the Nguzo Saba, that we've already been doing this. This is nothing foreign to us. The words may sound different because they're Swahili and our ears are not tuned to them. But we have been doing these principles all along. This is the richness of the Black community. So the next one is Nia, purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. I like that, to restore our people to their traditional greatness. And that's just moving with the purpose, making sure that what we're doing is bringing value to the whole, that as we educate ourselves and educate our children and use our gifts and our talents, that we're doing it in support of who we are as a people. Again, tying into checking on our strong friends, preparing an extra lunch for the family down the street, smiling and speaking and getting to know our neighbors, right? Now that's one thing we can get better at, is getting to know our neighbors. Everybody kind of goes home and closes their door, and that's it. You know, there was a time kids don't even play outside the way they used to, and there's a number of reasons why we don't. But that was so important for us to know the kids. When somebody moved in new to the neighborhood, you knew. You went and you said hi. We live 3 doors down. I got a little girl. You got a little girl. They can play together. You know, we don't do that no more. Ashay. Kaumba, creativity, to do always as much as we can in the ways we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited. Again, we are creative, beautiful people. We have big hearts. And man, when I was a little girl, East Palo Alto was beautiful. People's lawns was manicured, their houses were painted. People took pride in themselves. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now we have artists and poets, and I mean, we are just teeming with creativity on every level. And that's something to be proud of. I love the way we interact with one another, and there's something about the way we move. It's got its own cadence. It's got its own just rhythm and beauty. We are some amazing people, and it's not always those in the limelight. Sometimes if you just sit back and observe your community and just see the people in action and take away any judgment or any of that and just look at the people and see the value in the people, you'll see the beauty and the creativity and the resilience of who we are, especially those who are awakened to whose they are and their purpose. Ashe? And last is Imani, our faith. And this is what Black people know. However you connect into the Most High, whether it be through Jesus or it be through Muhammad or it be through nature, whether it be through Obatala, whether it be through whatever it be through, that you are in an understanding and an understanding that you are connected, that you are a fraction of the Most High creative energy wrapped in this flesh. Black people understand. They know how to connect. They know from whence cometh their help. They knew that there was something more, and that it was represented in everything that they touched, in everything that they could see and experience, they knew that it was a connection to the Most High. And that is one of the key reasons that we have been able to thrive within the survival dynamics, right? People don't know how roses grow out of the concrete, but we have beautiful rose gardens in places where they say that was not fertile ground, where they say, it's wasteland over there. Some kind of way we come out strong. We have adapted, and we still are surviving. And guess what? That's why they say we are magical. Francis Cress Welsing said, if we're such a deficit, and I'm paraphrasing, why do you have to put us in a box? Why are you caging us up? Why are you locking us down? If we ain't gonna do nothing, let us go. Let us be free. Let us, if we ain't got nothing in us, we're no threat. But obviously, even with shackles on our feet and chains and cages, we're still outperforming. We're still running faster, jumping higher, learning more, expanding ourselves. How is that? And I attest that to those praying grandmothers, grandfathers, to those chanting ancestors, to our connection to those beyond the veil, to our spirituality, however it manifests, to our faith. Ashe?
Ashe.
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 And again, that's just a practical breakdown of the Nguzo Saba. The Nguzo Saba. Kwanzaa means first fruits. When we have our celebration, we're bringing our first fruits. We're bringing ourselves to the celebration of the lifestyle that we live every day, all day, as we meet the need for one another. Before we go into prayer, is there anyone that wants to comment, bring in anything that this has brought up for them before we go into prayer?
This is Lena. Yeah, I just wanted to say when you were going over the different steps of Kwanzaa, and we were talking about your father, talking about the Haitians and the Cubans and the Jamaicans and all those ethnic Black people.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and in the early day, we did the same thing.
Yeah.
Black people worked hard, as you said earlier. We worked together. We had businesses. We supported each other. We just lost it, I guess, through integration or whatever. We lost it.
Mm-hmm.
But praying that we can get some of that back, some of the unity, some of the blessings, some of the togetherness, some of the supporting each other. If we could just get some of it back, we would be a better
We got it.
people. Yes.
We got it, sis. We got it,
Oh,
sis.
good. Okay.
We
Okay. I
had,
receive it.
yes, they believe me. As we speak right now, there
Uh-huh.
are Black peoples who are building together, who are sharing a vision together, who are creating together, who through the magic of the internet are connecting
Right.
and building. And because we can't, because those things are not always going to be uh, publicized in our face, or the way everything else is, we still have a tendency to use our words. Remember our hekau, our words are powerful. And
Absolutely.
you continue to speak that there's a divide, there will be a divide. It
Right.
starts in us, and we have to speak as if everything that
It's
we,
already happening. Right.
there you
Right.
go.
And I
That
know in Atlanta, I was watching something in Atlanta, and these were Black successful people. They were, like you said, supporting Black businesses, a Black lawyer, attorney, realtor. They were all supporting each other. And I was watching that on some program on TV. And then I just thought, oh, how wonderful. But yes, we
Mhm.
do have it. You're absolutely right.
You have
And
it
we
right
will,
there in your town. You when you
right,
are doing what you do and your sister's doing what your sister does, you are doing that. There is unity. There is support. We have to recognize it on every level. You know, we look for it in the high
absolutely,
places, but it starts at home. And we've been told that all our
absolutely.
life. Charity begins at home, and it does. And home in this case, I am equating to it begins in us. It begins in how we formulate our words and how we present ourselves and show up ourselves. If I believe that my people are whole and that are moving in sync, then I move wholly and I move in sync and I am just one now in this group or in this container that is doing what we need to do. And then I find or I am attracted to others with like minds. And then it grows that way. But we must use our words that's in a way that's beneficial. Ashe?
Ashe.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ashe.
Anyone?
Sure.
All right. All right. Come on in. Come on in, Angel.
Ashe, I was just laying here listening to the words that make up the Kwanzaa and the words that was created by my ancestors. And I love just the sound of it. It's like a mixture of strength and elegance and meaning all in a word.
Ashe.
And I just wanted to thank you for the way that you dig in and you come on and you share and these words and the whole mindset of where it came from. I don't want to not recognize that. And I thank you so much for what you do, how you do. And I say,
Ashe. Ashe. All right. Thank
Sure.
you. Thank you. Well, with that, if there's no one else that has, oh, come on in, Lenore.
No, I was just um supporting and agreeing with the sentiments that's being expressed um today. I want to thank you for kind of reminding us of the the value of not only like the history and the value of all the principles of Umoja, but reminding us that this is already a part of our life. This is an opportunity to reflect on things that we already are doing um, to be intentional
Mm-hmm.
about living out these principles in the coming year, and recognizing the value of it in our lives and in our community.
Mm-hmm. Ashe. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I know. Even with the Kwanzaa table, the kanara and the candles and the fruit and the gifts and this all of that, that's something that a lot of people, a lot of African Americans have that set up in their home all year long because it is a reminder that this is something that we do all year long. And Kwanzaa is merely the celebration, the coming together, the eating together, sharing that meal in a community space, just to celebrate ourselves as a people and how far we've come and how far we have the means and the desire to go. Right? We've got it. Everything we need, we have inside of us. Everything um, is available to us with the right mindset, the right words, the right understanding of who we are in the mix of it all, right? Once you come to center and come to that space of knowing, you know, stripping away the onion, right? All the minutia that society has tried to pile upon us. Some we've agreed and piled upon ourselves. And when you come to those understandings and those places of knowing, and that's every day, a new truth is revealed, a new lie is revealed, right? That's called growth, right? That's the ebb and flow of living. Every day we get closer as individuals, and therefore the whole is made better. So with that, let's take a deep breath in through our nose and releasing it through our mouths. Another deep breath in through our nose, drawing in the energy of spirit, and then releasing it through our mouths. And on this last inhale, bringing it in, filling our bodies, opening our rib cage, allowing our bellies to expand. Just letting it hold, and release. As we give thanks this morning to the Most High for the information that has been laid out before us in plain speak, letting us know exactly where we are, giving us milestones and markers to let us know that we are on track. We are not that far behind. We are not somewhere out in a wasteland, but that we are intentional. We as a people are intentional. We are creative. We are beautiful. We are brilliant. We are resilient. We are all those beautiful, conscious things that sometimes we forget to speak into ourselves. We forget to create soft, sacred spaces for us to land where there's compassion and understanding and openness. We forget to be vulnerable. We forget to receive. We forget to shower ourselves with praise and well wishes. It's time to lift our heads up. Get out of that grind mentality. Get out of that mentality that if we're not producing, then we're not worth anything. That's white supremacy at its best. If you're not producing, then you mean nothing. If you can't meet my marker, then all your work is for nothing. We release that. We send it as far as the east is from the west. We send it away. We release that out of every fiber of our being. We call in a sense of knowing what real unity is. And when we have that as a people, then we can stand in any audience, any place, knowing who we are and contributing without asking permission. We just know that this is where we belong. We're just being. But it starts at home. It starts in our own hearts. It goes into our own families, goes into our own communities, and then it goes globally. We give thanks for self-determination to say this is who we are. We're creating the life that we desire and we deserve, and we're doing it on our own terms. We're doing it with pride. We're doing it intentionally because we have a vision. And that vision is to return to the greatness of who we were created to be, and we give thanks. We give thanks for the spirit of creating economic stability for ourselves, not by stepping on anyone else, because there is enough for everyone. But we do it in the ways of who we are as a people. Trading, filling in, working together. No, not competing. There is enough for everyone. And then we're checking on each other. We're making sure that our elders are okay. We're making sure that we're creating safe places for our children. We're making sure that we're checking on those who are the worker bees, making sure that their diets are healthy, making sure that our bodies are healthy, that our minds are healthy. We're using our creativity to make this world a beautiful, better place. And as we do the work, we're discovering our purpose individually. Why did I take this assignment? What does this assignment have that's going to expand the all? What experiences am I having that I'm getting on the other side of that is expanding my view and bringing knowledge to the all? What is my purpose? And my faith. I know that I know that I know that I am connected to the Most High, to that omnipotent power, to that energy, that force, that life force that is in each and every one of us. It keeps reminding us of our divinity, but it also reminds us of our humanity. And that gives us patience and love and grace for ourselves, but also for our fellow man, for those in the family that's a little tilted and still sleeping in their ways of just not knowing that we can continue to be the solid in the room and exude this light that will illuminate their path and what they're doing so that they can see in them and make the adjustment. Ashe, just by us being, I give thanks on this morning as we pray this prayer and we send it out, that it would touch someone's heart, somebody's ear, somebody's mind, somebody's condition, that would encourage them to continue. It would encourage them to release those things that are no longer serving them. It would encourage them to begin to question some of the ways that they are governing their lives and let it go and begin to create a life full of possibilities. I give thanks on this morning. I send a special prayer for those who are in the struggle, who are working through the adjustment of losses, making major decisions in their lives, dealing with difficult situations in their timeline. I pray their strength. I pray their resolve. I pray for our men. I pray that you just continue to lift them up and to build them up and to allow them to find those soft spaces inside of them that they can open their hearts to receive love and to really begin to move in love, to release themselves from any mindset or dogma or any expectation that would have them separated from their emotional intelligence. Let them be free to express themselves, to be happy in the things that they're doing. Let them smile. Let them just feel. Remove that mindset that they have to be encased and in control all the time. Let them just feel and find their strength in the love that they have for themselves, their families, their community, their people. Let their words be soft in the home, in their relationships. Let them communicate their feelings. We know the power they are when they put on that armor. We know the force that they bring and how strong they stand up and how majestic they are. But when they come home, Lord, let them release that weight. Let them find soft, safe spaces in us as their women, in their families, in their home. Let them lay out and be loved. Oh, Father, Mother, God, touch our hearts. We pray for our women, those who are creating, those who are spinning the energy in their wombs, who are spinning the energy in their minds, who are holding so much inside. Let them release. Let them move in a place of safety. Let them begin to feel their feminine energy, their softness, their voluptuous lines. Let their voice be softened. Let their eyes be flirty. Return them to center. We give thanks this morning for who we are, for the knowing of whose and our purpose. Give thanks for the space, each and every woman represented here, the lineage that she calls into this space, every ancestor that has accompanied her here. We give thanks. We speak their names, those known and unknown, and we give them strength on the other side. We keep them alive. We set a plate for them. We give them water. We light a candle in honor, in gratitude. We're thankful for the Nguzo Saba, the principles in which you have highlighted for us to create the lives that we desire and deserve individually and collectively. We're thankful. We're grateful. And we say all these things in all the names and all the ways we connect to the majesty of you, the Most High. We say Ashe, Ashe,
Ashe.
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 All right. If there's anything else anybody wants to add, if not, we will release this space. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming in this morning. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your presence and your energy in the space.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Thank you. You were really on fire today.